Welcome to Around the World in 80 Bottles. I'm Emily Garrison, and today we're traveling to Italy in the comfort of your own kitchen. Today I'm going to do wild mushroom risotto. This has been one of my favorites for a long time. People always think risotto is very difficult to make, so I'm going to show you how easy it is. And I like to do it when I get my hands on some good mushrooms, and I was lucky enough this week to get some really nice chanterelles. So I'm doing a blend of portobello and chanterelles, but you can do whatever you want. You can mix button mushrooms, whatever you want. I will tell you, you'll get a much better and more intense flavor if you do at least one wild mushroom, and if you mix up the mushrooms, it really makes it a lot more interesting. I'm just going to cut those into chunks. You can finely dice them if you want, but I like the texture of having the larger pieces of mushrooms, so they're just going to be in chunks. Got some diced garlic, because what would Italian food be without some garlic? Some chopped onion, and arborio rice. Now, arborio is a finely milled rice, and it makes for a very good risotto because it's creamy when you mix it up instead of just becoming tough. So I've got some arborio, and what we're going to do that makes this dish a little different is we're going to use tartufo cheese. And this is a combination of sheep and cow's milk cheese, but it has truffles in it. So if our mushroom risotto wasn't intense enough, now we're going to add that extra punch. Instead of putting some Parmesan on the top, we're going to use the tartufo, and it's really going to give it a lot of depth. My secret to any intense dish is to add a little olive oil to my butter, just to make the cooking a little more even. We're going to add our onions and garlic early, get them nice and soft. And then the trick to arborio is as soon as the onions start to soften and the garlic starts to brown, we're actually going to add our rice and toss it in the butter, and that's going to coat each grain and get it toasted so that when we add the stock, just 1 cup at a time, it's actually going to soften as opposed to falling apart. What we're going to do as soon as these get nice and toasted, when they're not looking so white, once they start to cook a little bit on the outside, is add our stock, and we're only going to do that 1 cup at a time. So you're simply going to add the stock, stir it in, let it get absorbed into the rice, and then add your next cup of stock. Now in our second cup, we're going to add our mushrooms. I don't want to put these in too early because I don't want them to get too soft, but I also don't want them to be firm at the end. We want them incorporated into the dish. So we're going to continue to go through our stock and cook these down with everything else. I'm also going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Alright, so after about 20 minutes of not consistent stirring, but intermittent stirring, we have got a beautiful mushroom risotto. You can put these on plates or in bowls. They're going to hold together. You can see it's holding together pretty well. And then for a final flourish, we're going to use tartufo cheese. And we're going to sprinkle a little bit over the top. Just pull that apart. If you get this really cold, you can grate it. Otherwise, it's a little too soft to grate. I got mine out early in anticipation of my risotto. Some fresh herbs if you want to sprinkle those on there. If you want to put some thyme or some paprika, I love both of those with mushrooms. You do a little sprinkle. And then it's extra pretty. Once you serve this to your guests and they stir it once or twice, the cheese is just going to melt right into that risotto. That's the other good thing about if you grate it, it's going to be smaller pieces so it'll integrate nicely. If it's a little warm, it's going to melt right in. And this we have paired with a Morellino di Scansano, so a Sangiovese, just outside of Chianti, and it's got a little smoky and nutty flavor. And the thing about risotto, when you get it right, it's just got that nutty texture, and the mushrooms are going to make it extra earthy. Oh, so good. It really has that firm texture to the rice. That's why you toast it before you start adding your liquid. And the wine just brings everything together. It's got this good acidity that keeps everything from being too heavy, and it really mellows out that paprika I added on there and complements the cheese perfectly. I'm going to have a second bite. I hope you enjoy this mushroom risotto as much as I've enjoyed making it over the years. And before we go today, I just want to give a quick shout out to Cheeky Peach in downtown Athens, Georgia. From Today Forward on Around the World, they're going to be dressing me, so the food's not the only thing that looks good. Thank you, Cheeky Peach. I'm Emily Garrison, and I'll see you next time on Around the World in 80 Bottles. Cheers!